Ian Garry had this to say today.
In my ideal scenario, I want a 4th round finish. I don't want any early knockout, because then there's ifs, buts, maybes, there's excuses.
As you guys know, Ian Garry is a very, very confident kid. Islam is unchallenged as the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world. When you hear him say stuff like, I want a 4th round knockout because I don't want anyone to say it was a fluke. I love confidence. I love confidence. I love a guy that believes in himself and call their shot. What I don't understand though is sometimes a person is misguided in their thoughts.
Ian Machado Garry is not simply predicting that he will defeat Islam Makhachev. He is already choosing the exact round in which he wants the fight to end. But Daniel Cormier believes that this level of confidence could become extremely dangerous when Garry steps inside the octagon with the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world.
Fight or a showdown, name exactly 3 fighters you would take with you. This is an interesting question because I wonder who Charles will take with him.
Islam Makhachev, Who? Islam Makhachev.
The fighters are Islam Makhachev, Dustin Poirier, and also Ilia Topuria.
Yeah.
Every time we see each other, they treat me very well. These are 3 guys whom I respect a lot as fighters. And not just for what they do in the cage, but also for who they are outside of it. And
who is the best among these 3?
Out of these 3, Islam Makhachev.
Islam Makhachev?
Yes, Islam Makhachev. I think he is an exceptionally talented master and is currently working hard on improving his footwork. I think he is one of those who, in my opinion, has undergone the most significant transformation.
I don't like the guy.
I believe that in reality we're just human and sometimes we make mistakes. I think that starting with jiu-jitsu and moving into MMA, I became a well-rounded fighter and feel like a complete athlete. Wrestling, jiu-jitsu, a bit of everything. My strength is in jiu-jitsu. I'm very confident there, especially on the ground. But sometimes in a fight, we make mistakes and don't use our best skills, like, for example, Islam Makhachev. Take Makachev, for instance. He always has the right game plan. Take him down, apply pressure, keep pressing, impose his pressure. And I believe that this is exactly the right kind of...
It's going to be a sick fucking fight. Sick fight. Back in the good old days, I would see your ass fight 3 times in a year. But now, you're lucky to see Islam fight once a year. It's just hard. But the fact that we get to see him, fight Ian Garry, that's going to be a sick fucking fight.
Ian Garry, he's a guy that can get it done. Islam is one of the greatest to ever do it in this game. He's dominant in his field. And now he's at welterweight. Like against JDM, I thought JDM scrambling would give him problems, but nah, it wasn't the case. I haven't actually looked at that fight too much yet, but I'm excited for that fight just because it's like, again, another one of those ones where it's like destiny. A guy like Ian Machado, who's come up, had this dream, been saying I'm the future, and now the future is here. So will he get it done? Possibly.
Islam, he's fighting next UFC 330 next month against Ian Machado Garry. So who do you got in that fight?
I got Islam. It's a tough fight. I gotta rewatch Ian Garry's fight because I don't know him very well. People saying like he has a good takedown defense. I know a lot of people in 170, so I cannot say. But like Islam right now, he's the best. Hard to beat him.
Ian Garry more than he believes in him. The way that Ian portrays and talks about he believes in himself, I actually believe in him that way. He's a young guy and he's using the media as a way to help to convince himself. But I actually think he's that good. I actually think Ian Garry can beat Islam. Now, I'm not predicting for you that he's going to. We'll get to that as this fight gets closer, but I'm sharing for you he can. And Ian Garry is a pain in the ass. And this whole thing that he can't wrestle, go ask Rachmanov if that's true. Or this whole thing that you can take Ian's back and finish him. Go ask Rachmanov if that's true. Or anybody else that Ian's ever fought or anyone else that's ever had his back. Because none of them ever finished him. But he's going to be to Islam what Conor was to Aldo. What are we talking about? He's got a way, he sees something, he's got a way, he's got a pattern, he's got something he's going to try, and if it works, he's going to look great. Is that what we're talking about? Sometimes that happens. George Masvidal knew, I'm going to throw a knee. If it lands, I'm going to look great against Ben Askren. If it doesn't work, he's going to catch me, take me down, and I'm never going to get up. But I'm going to put everything into this. Like sometimes it does work. But I don't want that to be what Garry's talking about. I want it to be fun starting now. I want him to go after it.
Yeah, I think that obviously, I mean, that's true. Like from a perspective of like just the truth. I mean, he's not the type of guy that's just going to KO you in the first round. You know what I mean? Like it's just not really what he does, because he's really smart. Like he's very defensively sound. He plays really long. I think the leg kicks and like the oblique kicks and the head kicks and just the frame difference between them means that Ian Garry's probably going to play. He always plays the matador. Like he's never playing the ball. He's never like being aggressive and like trying to hunt you down. He like builds into a fight, and then in round 3, 4, and 5, that's when he gets a little bit more aggressive. That's where he like rocks people, like even Bilal and Prates or whatever. He had big moments against them in round 3, 4, and 5. I mean, Shavkat Rakhmonov, he gets his back in the 5th round. So I feel like if there is a finish from Ian Garry, it probably is in the 4th or 5th. So it's not ridiculous. I don't think it's ridiculous to say that. I guess that's what I'll say. It's not ridiculous to say that, but I also feel like, come on, bro, you're not finishing Islam Makhachev. Like, come on, bro. If you win this shit, it's by decision. Like, let's be fucking real. Same with Islam. I mean, I think Islam has more finishing potential overall. Like, early on, he could snap up a Das. He's really fucking dangerous. Like, I think Islam overall is more likely to finish this fight. But I feel like if this gets to round 3, 4, and 5, it's probably going to be a decision. Like, I think this will be a very close fight. Both of those camps have said the same thing. So I lean towards a decision. If you're asking me what I think is going to happen, I don't think it's going to be a finish from Ian Garry.
How good do you think is Ian Garry when you look at the rest of the division?
Dude, I mean, shit. Like, it's pretty hard to say he's not the number 1 guy. Like, besides Islam, right? Like, he beat Prates. He had a really good fight with Shavkat Rakhmonov. Like, had more finishing type moments in that fight. You know, beat MVP. Like, he's beat all types of weird style matchups as well, which I think is really cool to see. Like, obviously,
With the highly anticipated showdown between Islam Makhachev and Ian Machado Garry getting closer, debate surrounding the fight continues to intensify. MMA legends, former champions, respected coaches, and experienced analysts have all begun offering confident predictions while breaking down the different ways each fighter could secure victory. Some believe Garry has the talent to produce one of the biggest surprises in UFC history, while others are convinced that Makhachev's complete and well-rounded game makes him one of the toughest champions to beat. As fight night approaches, some of the sport's most recognizable voices are sharing their perspectives on what could happen in this blockbuster matchup.
However, it's just Islam is the mark of excellence in MMA. You know, you're talking about just a pro's pro who, even when weight cuts don't go right, he still finds ways to win. But for the most part, operates like a pro. You know, I think engages in trash talk without going insane. I'll put it that way. Which I personally prefer. You know, everyone's going to be a little bit different, but I kind of prefer that. But just in terms of like excellence, you know, can he wrestle quite as well as Khabib? Maybe not, but pretty close. And he can strike a whole lot better. He has fought, you know, very, very tough guys. I didn't know how 170 was going to go, and then it's just been what it's been. You know, I just think very, very, very highly, not only of his ability and his well-roundedness and experience, but his ability to, you know, remain focused on the goal at all times. So many of these guys, they get fat out of camp, they get in trouble, they lose focus, they want to do something else, the fire dies. And these guys from Abdul Manap's camp, man, they just stay grounded and keep hammering and keep hammering. And that's why they keep winning. And Islam is, you know, one of the very best to ever do it. A remarkable fighter, and, you know, can go and do a numbered event in the Middle East, can do one in stateside, and I think that is a degree of its own kind of value. Hugely important for that organization and the sport generally.
Totally. Yeah, I think, and a big thing now is literally starting with this fight, you can promote every Islam Makhachev fight as historic beyond measure, given this winning streak. I mean,
that's right.
With Anderson Silva, you could say this is a fighter who's never done anything beyond this point like it is. That's a huge fact.
I'm intrigued by this fight. I mean, listen, Islam, as you agree, I think most people do believe he's number 1 pound for pound right now. So it's hard to pick anybody against that you believe is the number 1 pound for pound fighter in the sport. But do I believe that Ian Machado Garry has earned this opportunity and that he has a potential to win this fight? I do. You know what I mean? He's long, he's rangy. Listen, you already said you weren't going to try to make it all one-sided. I mean, he's a smart guy. He fights intelligent. He stays committed to his game plan. He has beaten, you know, Bilal Muhammad, Carlos Prates, Michael. I mean, he's beaten. It's not the same fight. Now, I will say this. I saw a quote where he came out and was like, I can beat Islam in wrestling and grappling. And I was like, please let that be a smoke screen. You know what I mean? Like, again, and I do, and again, I always say, we talk about it all the time. Fighters need to have an almost insane level of self-confidence, right? Like, you should not be getting into a steel cage with another human being if you do not have the utmost level of self-confidence. So I want Ian to feel that way, that he does have the ability to be there, but I don't want to see it.
Chael Sonnen believes Ian Machado Garry could put himself in a strong position before the opening bell by making Fight Week a mental contest against Islam Makhachev. In Sonnen's view, Garry should use every press conference, media appearance, and face-off to apply psychological pressure, making the champion feel the growing weight of the occasion. Even so, Sonnen is not convinced that Garry will choose to approach the build-up that way. Although some observers have compared Gary's style outside the cage to Conor McGregor's, Sonnen believes it is still too early to place the two in the same category.
I want him to get in his head. I want him to rattle him. I want Islam at the face-off to look away. Now, whether Islam does any of those things, right, it would just force Islam to rise. We could have some fun. Press conferences are only fun if there's a little bit of that sprinkled in there. Can we agree? Face-offs are only worth doing if there's a little bit in there. I just don't think that's what he's talking about. And I'm not getting the comparison. Now, I'm open to it. I'm open to observing this and updating you guys as we go and telling you, hey, that's what he talked about. Okay, he's doing, hey, remember when Conor did that to Jose? Okay, hey, here's what he's doing. Here's the playbook. I just don't know if that's what he means.
Chael Sonnen also emphasizes that mental warfare is only one piece of the puzzle. In his opinion, the real examination starts the moment the cage door closes. He believes Ian Machado Garry's success will depend on his ability to neutralize Islam Makhachev's takedown game while sustaining a high work rate throughout all 5 rounds, since the champion is known for maintaining his intensity from start to finish. Sonnen argues that if Garry can meet those demands, the matchup becomes far more competitive. He also suggests that Sean O'Malley is another fighter whose performances are worth studying for valuable insights.
Ian Garry has answered a lot of questions, and if you're going to deal with Islam Makhachev, first and foremost, can you stop a takedown? Second, and it's in this order specifically, can you go hard for 5 rounds? Because Islam can. If you change it to 10 rounds, Islam's not going to wilt. Khabib and that whole team show up right. But if you could stop a takedown, and you could go hard for 25 minutes, conversation changes completely. Completely changes. Sean O'Malley is who I would encourage Ian Garry to study. Sean O'Malley is not a master of wrestling defense, but everybody thinks he is. Why? Well, because he never gets out wrestled. Okay. Why don't I give Sean that credit then? Because he doesn't defend any shots. Sean's got you beat a step early.
Garry was probably in there for about 35 minutes telling us all the things that he was going to do in his fight when he got to the Octagon in Madison Square Garden. You left there, one, going, man, that meeting was much longer than it was supposed to, but also impressed by the kid and his confidence and his belief in himself. But when you hear him saying, I want to fight Islam Makhachev, who is the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world now, no questions about it, because obviously Ilya was in the conversation, but then when him losing to Justin Gaethje, Islam is unchallenged as the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world. When you hear him say stuff,
it's not announced yet, but we all kind of know he'll be fighting Ian Garry in August. Do you think Ian can do anything to challenge him, or do you see this as a pretty dominant fight for him?
Ian Garry is a top guy. Of course, he can do something, but I think Islam gonna be prepared for everything. We know Ian Garry, he have like a problem with wrestling. Islam have very good control in the ground, and he have like good striking. My opinion, it's gonna be a huge fight. We'll see.
Khabib's a pretty candid guy. He speaks his mind, he talks how he feels, and he shoots it straight. And he said, look, this is a difficult fight for Islam. We've never fought somebody this tall. He said that he uses range really well. He moves around a lot. He makes himself hard to grab. On top of that, Islam is pushing 35 years of age, and we're gonna have to chase him down in this fight a little bit. We're gonna have to be a little bit more aggressive than we've had to be in the past, because we need to get our hands on him. That's our best way to victory is to get our hands on Garry and get him to the ground and let Islam do what he does best.
Right.
Now, could Khabib be saying that because he's trying to build the fight? Now, Khabib is kind of, he's a straight shooter, but he's also a promoter. He's also a showman. He's had his own MMA promotion before. You know, is he trying to build some excitement? And, you know, dare I even say, when Islam makes it look easy against Ian Garry, it makes it look all that much more impressive. You mentioned Floyd Mayweather in the prior segment. Floyd used to do that with opponents. You know, he'd be like a minus 2,000 favorite, and he's like, man, this is the toughest opponent I've ever had. I could lose this fight. Like, this guy could knock me out.
Laughing all the way to the bank.
Yeah, now, is there a little bit of that going on? I don't know. But I do agree that Garry is not an easy opponent for Islam. Ian Garry's going to bring some wrinkles and complexities to Islam Makhachev that he's not had against.
Chael Sonnen has spent considerable time studying Sean O'Malley's style, particularly the way he consistently prevents opponents from completing takedowns. Even after repeatedly watching O'Malley's fights, Sonnen admits he has not fully identified the exact reason behind that success. He believes that if Ian Machado Garry can uncover the same formula, his chances of defeating Islam Makhachev would improve dramatically. In Sonnen's opinion, Garry has a legitimate opportunity to win if he can consistently stop the takedowns and maintain a relentless pace over all 5 rounds. Luke Thomas shares the view that Garry presents a serious challenge. He points out that winning a championship in a new weight class, and successfully defending it, is never an easy task. Thomas respects Garry's durability and defensive ability, but he also recognizes that Makachev's complete offensive game makes him an exceptionally difficult champion to overcome. According to Thomas, the champion's ability to control every round is one of the biggest obstacles Garry must solve. Veteran MMA fighter Mayhem Miller is especially interested in the stylistic matchup between the two competitors. While he acknowledges that Makachev's wrestling, physical strength, and submission skills have established him as one of the sport's most dangerous champions, he believes Garry's size and overall skill set could create real problems. Miller feels Garry's best path to victory is to maximize his reach, switch stances regularly, and constantly disrupt Makachev's rhythm. Bedtime MMA also offered his assessment of the matchup, highlighting Garry's activity level, adaptability, and outstanding fight IQ. He believes Garry excels at identifying an opponent's weaknesses and tailoring his strategy to exploit them. At the same time, he credits Makachev for his dominant grappling, disciplined defense, and exceptional understanding of the sport. In Bedtime MMA's view, both fighters possess the type of intelligence often associated with Georges St-Pierre, making this a meeting between two of the division's sharpest competitors. Former lightweight champion Charles Oliveira also praised Makachev, pointing to his discipline and unwavering commitment to executing a game plan as his greatest strengths. Oliveira believes those qualities, combined with Makachev's intelligence inside the cage, are what make him one of the most difficult fighters in mixed martial arts to defeat. With so much respect being shown toward the reigning champion, the biggest question remains unanswered. Can Ian Machado Garry deliver a stunning upset, or will Islam Makhachev's elite wrestling and championship experience once again prove to be the deciding factors?